So let's start. Hello everyone. Now it's time for the most exciting part of Elag, the lightning talks. Everyone got 5 minutes each and tell us something, anything you want, something you do, something you would like to do, the best idea ever or the worst thing you have done, so we can learn from that. We still have some spots free for tomorrow's lightning talk, so please sign up and take your chance and tell us something, anything, and we will love it. I think the first speaker today will be Julia and Victoria. And if all the other who's going to speak in this session, I think there's 7 of you, just will be prepared and sit in front, that would be fine. 5 minutes, and I will let you know when there is 1 minute left, so you know. So welcome Julia and Victoria. Couldn't get those arranged. You have to stand here, okay, somewhere where those microphones are. And you have to be somewhere here to get them.
Okay. Can we just start this as well? Hello everyone. We didn't prepare any slides actually, because we just wanted you to listen to us and not look at nice pictures or anything like that. I'm Julia, that's Victoria. I'm a librarian, Victoria is a developer. We both work for the cooperative network of Berlin and Brandenburg libraries in Germany. That's one of the 6 existing library consortia in Germany. And at the KOBV, we develop, host and maintain software and services for our consortial libraries. And during the last 2 days, we kind of thought about the actual theme of this year, Lingering Gold. So what is our Lingering Gold? Our Lingering Gold are the members of our consortia and their variety of media, data and services. Thus, one of our central services for our library consortial libraries is the presentation of their collections. Therefore, we have a research portal which shows all the collections of Berlin-Brandenburg region. It actually exists since 10 years, like the KOBV portal. It's, that's the old portal. Its technological architecture is based on a concept of distributed search, which is not wrong per se today, but in comparison to other search portals, it is very slow indeed, because it queries all catalogs in web real time. That's why we thought we want to make a portal that's fast and easy to use for everyone under one roof at one place for all of our users and beyond. Therefore, we have a project which is called K2. It is limited on 3 years because it's funded from the European Regional Development Fund, so we only have time left since September 2015. Why did we call it K2? First, because we have the old KOBV portal, so that's the new one, that's the second one. And then we have like a metaphor, like the K2, the mountain. For us, this project is it means it's a hard way to get to the end, but when we're there, we will be gifted with a great view, and our great view will be the regional view of all of our libraries and their data. And where do we stand at the moment? We are half the way up of the mountain, but it's still some way to go.
Yeah, half the way up means that we have structured our architecture. Our front end is based on a software we developed 2 years ago by our own, so no open source. It is called Elag Library Search Engine, and there we have also a Solr index containing our records. The backend we are developing at the moment is Java-based. There we are using Spring, Spring JPA and Maven, and for organization of our team, team here means 2.5 developers, we are using Jira. We also developed some modules already. For example, we've created a component called hierarchy analyzer, who is getting father-child relationships between records. At the moment we are working on a module called cluster analyzer. This module is searching for duplicated records. Then when a pair of duplicated records is found, it should decide which record is the main record and should merge the content of the records. When this will be done, we are going to develop some additional functions like an availability proxy for our media, and we are also planning to include other sources like Primo Central, for example. Yeah, when this is done, finally, then we are going to develop a mobile version also, and the current one main thing of our backend, we developed our modules in this way that they can be reused easily, so they can also be used standalone. And the current developer version of our portal, Julia will show you.
Yeah. Okay, it's 1 minute. Maybe I'm just doing a little search. Bio. So in the old portal we have you see it really needs a long time compared to the new one. This one's just not designed, so we will do this in 2015. But what we already have is like we have results, we can show details, we can use facets. I'm just going to the Humboldt University. We can show the RVK, that's something like the DDC, but just in German. So we can change this into a visual, yeah, it shows something visual, not just the notation. We can do interlibrary loan at the end of this month with this portal. We also have recommendations included. And yeah, there's a lot of stuff coming. I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. So that's what we're doing right now.
Thank you very much. And right on time. Yeah, and the next one will be Jan Nicolas. Oh, is that right?
Yes, Jan.
From
Jan.
Abyss?
Yes.
Yes. You're welcome, and you got 5 minutes.
Okay, thank you very much. Good morning. So my name is Jan Nicolas, and I work for Abyss, that is a French state agency that provides services for all the academic libraries in France. And I would like to talk about what we are doing for semantic webs, around semantic web, and what we have done and what we have still to do. So we are on the map, but the bubble is not at the right place because there is not only one city in France. So we are here in Montpellier, and it's a bit far, but we are also on this map. And precisely we are here, SUDOC. SUDOC is the French Academic Union Catalogue. But as there is not only one city in France, there is not only one database or application at Abyss. We have 3 main catalogues, plus one special one, that is the authority file, the authority data database. It's very important because our strategy, as others, was to focus or move to the web of data through the connection of all our 3 catalogs through the authority data. Okay, here is a zoom. So we have SUDOC, the main catalog with books and serials, mainly. Test.fr, that is for dissertations. Calam, that is a catalog of manuscripts and archives. And they are all connected to IDREF, that is the authority data database. Before the IDREF, the authority were included in the main catalog, but we have decided to make it autonomous to be able to, easier to connect other catalogs to it. This autonomy is technical and marketing, from a marketing point of view too. So we have been opening data for 4 years now. Here is a table. We are not time enough to analyze it, but we can see what we have done for each of these catalogs and what we have still to do, and there are many things to do, but we are on a long march. And what I would like to stress is that there is not only way to adopt semantic web technologies. Of course, you have to open your data, but you want to consume, to reuse other people's data. The second point, you have to, maybe you can also manage in your backend, manage data in RDF, even if you don't open or reuse other data, and you can also edit or catalog in RDF. So I would like to detail this point. So opening data, we have already talked about it, and each application is in a move at its own pace, but they are converging through the web of data and through authority data. But we also want, of course, to consume others' data, and on this point we need that other people do the same as we did, as opening data. So we need that ISSN International opens data, that INSEE, a French statistic organism, opens its data to be able, for us to be able to connect dissertations metadata to companies, by instance, and so on. And publishers need to open their data too. And that's why we are, as all publishers have not opened the data, we are a project that was called Hub of Metadata, and the point is to process and redistribute publisher metadata, but on not all publisher metadata. We are not able to manage the whole mass, but we have to focus on what is important for us and what we can provide for the whole community. By instance, around the French publishers. Yeah. 1 minute, okay. So traditionally, we used to true. We used to wait for publishers to provide us with marked data, and we process marked data and we redistribute marked data to catalogs. Now we want to accept many more formats. We want to take publishers' metadata as they are in their information system because they are more richer, and to process as RDF because it is very flexible and we don't lose any piece of information that was in the native metadata, and we want to disseminate them towards other tools at catalogs like LOD or Disco tools. And at last, editing, the last point. We've seen, and during this conference, that there are very beautiful and promising emerging technologies as OntoWiki, as I say, or BibFrame editor, or RDF Forms, or Libris. But the question that is open for us, and maybe open for other people, that should we edit that data as RDF, or to keep it classical tool to edit data or to catalog. So, thank you.
Are you that take the webcam from somewhere?
Sorry, what?
Are you that?
Toke Eskilsen.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you.
What about microphones? Just talk?
Just talking, you have to be here.
Yes, okay. Scan and fix. Over.
I think you have to present yourself because I didn't catch your name.
Oh, that's
Sorry.
not a problem.
You're very welcome anyway.
Okay, Control L. No? Yes. Okay. Hello and good morning, and this will be about some numbers, because that's me. This will also be about strawberry milk, because that's apparently also me. I just discovered this yesterday. I work for the State University Library as the tech guy, one of the tech guys, and this will be about web scale. We can actually claim that we're doing web scale because we're a small country, so it's possible for us to do. This is also about web harvesting. As so many other countries, we have harvested the web, which means our part of the web, or at least how we define it. And we've been doing that since 2005, I recently discovered, but I also know that it's only in the last 5 years that it has really picked up speed. And we can do that because we're allowed to, and we have to bypass all the, what's it called, HT access and whatever, robots text and so on. So in these, well, 5 to 9 years, we've actually harvested quite a bit of data. So we of course want that to be searchable, and we would also ideally like that to be searchable for everyone, but we cannot do that because of legislation. Still, we had a budget to build a search engine for it. So this is what this is about. And it's cheap, like the strawberry milk. So numbers, a lot of them. I guess you can read the slides later, but the point is, we have all these terabytes of harvested data. We want to index them. We use Solr for this. We could also use Elasticsearch, and, well, not much else, because that's what is there, out there in the open source country landscape, and that's what we're using. So with all these, I can see 370 terabytes. That's a lot of terabytes. It will be compressed down to about 20-24 terabytes index, we estimate. And for this, we bought 2 small machines. They're actually quite small compared to web scale. And they actually didn't cost that much. I think in British pounds it would be about 12,000 pounds each, which again at this scale should be dirt cheap. So our plan was, well, we just built 20 small indexes of a terabyte each, put them on a solid state drive each, and then just put it all in a single machine. After all, there will only be 2 or 3 researchers in Denmark allowed to search in the index, so no need to scale up in that way. And it takes about 8 days to build such a shard. So 20 shards, 8 days, 160 days, what, 3 months? In 3 months' time we should be finished with this project and be able to search it all. But we have been building for a month, so we have some numbers. So what happens when we do this cheap thing? Oh, I have time? Yeah. Yes. Sorry, I forgot to mention one thing. This solid state thing, I'm sure you heard about it. One main reason for using them was actually that we did a lot of measurement, and we did really a lot of specifications, and we discovered that for the amount of solid state that we needed for this project, well, the volume of them fitted exactly into this carton of milk. And I found that to be a very important metric for selecting hardware. Anyway, they're fast too. So, right now we have 4 shards, and that's about 3.6 terabyte of index, or about, I think it's 1.2 billion ripped resources. So, yesterday night, I tried hitting it with some queries. So, just to scale things up, I said, let's have 20 users hammering all the way on this web thingy, searchy thingy, just with simple searches. So we have this beautiful, I think actually it looks like a whale, but what we can see here is that as long as we keep the results set below, I don't know, 12 million hits, well, response times are well below 1 second. and that's with 20 users hammering.
1 minute.
1 minute, yes. Okay. Fair, that's only 3.6 terabyte out of the estimated 20, but we're pretty confident that this will work very well going onwards. That was simple searches. Nowadays we want faceting. I did some experiment. I apologize for the poor graph here because that was from another project. But the thing you should look for is the lower blue arch, which says again that as long as we are below this time 10 million hits, then response time should be below, well, 1.5 seconds. And that's faceting on the URL field, which is unique to each record. So we're talking about 300 million unique values here. So, Solar works, and it's dirt cheap to build something that actually is in the terabyte range, and for Denmark, web scale. Thank you.
Yeah, that was a very nice requisita. The next one is Dorota Public Domain. Yeah, welcome. You can put it. And when you're done, if you could take this one further.
I've already done that yesterday.
Oh,
yes,
thank
yes,
you.
I've done that.
Welcome.
So shall I use that mic?
You just talk because they are on.
Oh, okay, right. Can you hear me well? Yeah, should work. Hello, good morning, everyone. I'm just going to start with something seemingly different, something that looks like completely not related to this conference or to the topic that we deal with our everyday lives. I'm going to start with the idea of commons. And we very often think about commons being natural resources, the things that we can all take advantage of, things that are somewhere out into the wild, in the nature. But actually, this is pretty much commons as well. This is something that is called shared good. This is our cultural heritage, something that is there for us to take advantage of, for us to use, for us to inspire our new works. But cultural commons are something that we also need to care for and protect and manage. But when I say protect, I don't really mean putting it somewhere in a tower and enclosing it, putting it under limitations. When I say protect, I mean making sure that it keeps inspiring new works, that it keeps being open, that it keeps being alive. And therefore, there shouldn't be any more limitations put under it, and this is why we have public domain. And public domain are all the works that there's no known copyright to, all the works that have been under copyright but now are copyright free, works that should be openly available everywhere for everyone to use and reuse and to create new works with. So the idea of cultural commons, of commons in general, and public domain are very close to each other. And I think our duty, something that we have to do and think about every day, is to make sure that this cultural commons, our cultural heritage, is maintained and is open to everyone to use. And it's actually cut, but you can see that this is what very recently Metropolitan Museum has done. It has been praised for releasing 400,000 images from their collections online. The only but being that they put this little note that is underlined in red, saying that the public domain works cannot be used freely, and there are limitations that they don't want you to use it for commercial purposes, only for educational, personal use. And if you want to use it, you should also cite it, which is not really legal. So although this is a very good step forward, this is something that is making good publicity for openness. On the other hand, it's not as it should be. And how it should be, and Get the Research Institute shows us, that has released, I think in August last year, a huge amount of collections, and another batch this year in January. And this is the terms and conditions page just on your right side, when they say that anyone is free to use it in any way they wish to. And there are no new rights claims over the public domain. And if you go into the search, it doesn't state next to the image that it's public domain, but if you go into the collections and you search through, you have an option to choose which says open collections. And open collections are all the things that are now in the public domain. So it's very easy for us, but also for our users, to know how to use these works and how to create new works inspired by them. So my suggestion is keep the public domain public, keep it inspire us, keep us cycle like these 12 apostles. With the Christ, this is a blog that you might know, Scorpion Dagger, that has animated GIFs made out of public domain works. So who knows, maybe one of your users, one of your readers will create something like this for fun, but also to have the last slide of my presentation. Thank you. And if you need some more information, please visit our openglam.org website, where we gather all the open collections and we try to promote institutions that follow the open path. And we've just recently created a CC toolkit for people who like to learn more about Creative Commons and in GLAM institutions, and the link is just at the bottom. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, and now I think it's time for Karen. It's your turn. Welcome. And actually, I can't. Library Box, is that the name of your presentation? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm on the desktop.
Do you want to put it in? Yeah.
No, I'm on the desktop. I already copied it over.
Yeah.
So I want to talk to you very briefly, because I don't know a whole lot about it myself, about Library Box, which is a portable private digital distribution network that you can either build or buy. And this is Library Box, and this is Library Box. So it is designed for not just libraries, but for any situation in which you want to have a local network that is private and that distributes files. It's a project that was based on Pirate Box, done by Jason Griffey through a Kickstarter, which is how I got this. I kickstarted. So it's good for distribution of digital information, any kind of files that you want to download in areas where you don't have good internet access. It's also a good way to share files privately, which is what Pirate Box was about, and since thanks to Snowden we now know why it would make a difference to be off the internet at times. And it can help focus your users in classes or in other situations where you want them to focus on that content. It creates a closed LAN, so when you're on the Library Box Wi-Fi, and it shows up as Wi-Fi, you're not connected to the internet, you're just connected to the Library Box, which means that you can't access resources outside the Library Box, but it also means that you can't access resources outside the Library Box. So in a classroom situation, everyone isn't, reading their email or surfing the net, so you can keep people focused on particular content. You can put any files on it that you want, you can deliver files, you can create your own user interface, you can administer it remotely, and all of the files are on a single thumb drive that plugs into the box. You can build your own if you don't want to buy one, and all the instructions are on the website. And I will try to, for as long as I have access, as long as I have electricity here, that I have juice, I will keep it on from time to time. If you look for Library Box in the Wi-Fi list, it's there, you can get onto it. I don't know how many people can get on at a time, so if you can't get on, try later in the day. and then you open your browser and go to any page, and you'll be on the library box. Most of the files that are there are ones that Jason Griffey put on as he sent it out, although I did add one that looks like a website under metadata, which is some data of my own. And if you want information about it, because I know very little other than, I can plug it in and it works, librarybox.us, and Jason Griffey is the developer, and he loves to talk to people about it. Thank you.
Yeah, I think the next one is Matthew Phillips. And you must tell us what you're going to talk about. Have you signed this paper? You can take it afterwards, just the very last.
Yes. I work for the University of Durham, which is a beautiful city in the north of England. And here are some pictures. We have a UNESCO World Heritage Site at the centre of the city, and it's a lovely place. I just want to tell you a little bit about what we're doing in our library and museums service. We're currently implementing the Primo system on top of our Millennium library management system. So at the moment we haven't customized it very much, but we're working on getting the data in there, and that's including data not only for our books but also for our archives and our museum collections. So we were talking about finding the gold. This is the danger of doing a live demo. How quickly is it going to respond? Here we go. I know that there is gold in our collections, and I know how to find some of it because I can filter for objects, which will be our museum materials, and here we have quite a lot of gold. So we'll just have a little look. Gold coins, all sorts of different things. Now the museum objects have been a particular challenge because unlike bibliographic data, you don't have an author or a title or anything like that. Very often we know not very much about them. It can be quite vague, but we are adding extra facets to the Primo system. So we have a facet here for material, so you can find out, filter on what things are made from. We also have a facet for the place of production and for the period. We have quite a lot of Egyptian material, for example, so these are these three items are from the 26th dynasty. We get all sorts of problems, of course, with sorting some of these things into sensible order, and I'm not sure we've cracked that one yet. Now, as well as the objects that I mentioned, we have archives, and this is beginning to having them all in one search system for the first time means we're getting a lot more interesting crossover between the collections. So I've just searched for Sadler Street, which is the name of a street which leads up to the cathedral in Durham. And we see here we have a book in our special collections, and here we have some photographs of the street from a long time ago. And if I do a filter by material, we can see that there are also objects in our archaeological collections. This one, for example, was excavated at an address in Sadler Street. So we're hoping this will reveal a lot more crossover between our collections and allow people to really explore them well. But we have a lot of plans. For example, we have a grid reference here, and it would be nice to be able to link out to a mapping site and somehow do things with georeferencing and so on. And as well as implementing Primo, we are at the same time providing a new interface to our link resolver. I was going to do this just by clicking through from Primo, but it didn't seem to be working, so I've just had to go there direct. We are using the umlaut front end for link resolvers, which is usually designed to go in front of SFX, but we're using it with WebBridge, which is the link resolver that comes with Millennium. And as you can see, it has a nice display showing which copies are in and out and all that kind of thing. And it's very customizable. It's written in Ruby and uses the bootstrap system, so it automatically resizes nicely for use on your mobile phone.
Thank you.
Okay.
I think the next one will be Rurik. Is there anyone else who has signed up that I missed? So please step ahead. Oi. And remember to sign up for tomorrow so we can get a lot more of these interesting short lightning talks.
Could I just connect?
Yeah.
Was it that one? Control source.
Actually, I don't know. Shall I go up and ask him? He's coming.
So this one's recognised.
I can go up and ask
Yeah.
him.
Yeah. Okay. Looks like it's on, actually. Yeah, my name is Rurik Thomas Greenall. I work at the Norwegian University of Science and Technology, NTNU, in Trondheim. And I'm going to talk about some experiences that I've had working with interfaces in libraries. I'm leaving the library domain soon to work with a consultancy company, but my first job is working with libraries, actually. I'm going to take a starting point, and it's a quote from Leon Trotsky. Yeah, some of you may recognise why I have a quote from Leon Trotsky. And the relevance of this quote actually will become apparent, hopefully, in the end. I had this idea. I asked a question yesterday whether or not the interface that Libris has been developing actually had some workflow that it was attempting to provide an entry point to. And it sounds like a bit of a strange question, perhaps, and particularly for the developer. I'm a developer myself, and I would struggle with that question if you asked it about my interface. And I think that a lot of the things that we do in library are actually bound by the way we think about, for example, cataloguing, about how we present data, and everything seems to sort of hang off some diffuse things that we do in the background that perhaps aren't part of what we should be working with and looking at. And there's some thinking here about what is it that is affecting the way we're working. Why can't we dig ourselves out of what we're doing? Because what I noticed was that every time I created an interface, it seemed to be like the previous interface. It ended up in the end being the same. Yeah, you could add some whistles and bells, but it was basically the same shit with new wrapping. But it's a format that appeared, it's a way of thinking. And then I thought, I looked around and there's some other people thinking about the same kind of thing. And yeah, what happens when it's because of the cataloguing rules? What happens because there's the format that we're using at some point? And this applies equally well to other domains. And then it all got a bit meta for me, so I started thinking about not using PowerPoint for a moment. What's the aim of this interface? There's a guy from Bibsys sitting here. You recognise this. This comes from 1988. Yeah, but we use it today. This is a very good, it's a good interface for doing its job, which is creating Bibsys mark records. And if it's the aim of your institution to create portable records within the mark format, brilliant. And do it using AACR2 with a bit of punctuation from some of the weird things with 3 or 4 letters. 5. Now that's 1988, but you'll recognise actually there isn't actually mark. But this is our new ALMA that we'll be getting in NTNU. And actually this is 1,000,000 times worse, because this is mark. This isn't moving forwards, this is moving 50,000 paces backwards and directly doing the thing that I'm guessing isn't your core thing unless you're selling mark data. And then we've got the thing of local colour. Actually, local colour is about serving your local community. It's perhaps about doing what you're supposed to be doing. And actually the cataloguing rules open up for that. It is about serving your local community. And within an extensible framework like RDF, there's no problem actually providing space for local colour. And as we all know, because we develop our little dialects, all of this is actually inevitable anyway, so why not plan for it? Why actually hang onto these old-fashioned ideas about having the one format to rule them all? It doesn't work like that. Just embrace it. And then my thought here was engage with the workflow pairing, workflow result pairing. You've got to figure out how you want to achieve things, but first you need to figure out what you actually want to achieve. And the result is what you need to focus on. And this is where Trotsky comes in. It's the means to the end. But the means to the end should not dictate what the end actually is. So, if you have the workflow, the desired result, that goes into the system. In the library world, the arrows go the other way. The system dictates both of these things. If you want a mark-based workflow, to get mark-based stuff out. Fair enough. But the thing is, because we know how BibFrame is getting developed, it's the same again. It's the system, it's backwards compatibility. You will end up producing library catalogues, and I don't think that's the aim of what we're trying to do in libraries. I think we're trying to push content out to users in innovative, clever ways that are going to provide value. And I don't think creating a new representation of a mark record is a good idea. And unfortunately, when we're working with RDF, that's what we've largely been doing. Our systems, RDF-based, they ended up looking like a new, slightly improved catalogue, but improved in an architectural sense and not in a user experience sense. So rounding up, focus on the workflow result pairing and fuck the system. Thank you.